So we are here, and we did some things around. So we haven't actually entered into Liurnia yet. Just because there were some things that I wanted to do in the downtime, like go get the duelist stuff. So you may notice we've got the axe. We're actually 2 levels light of being able to actually use it. So if we look at our stats, you see we've got the 24, which two-handing gives us 36 strength. That lets us get the strength requirement. It's the dexterity requirement that we're worried about right now. So we're 2 levels low on that. So we can use it if we have a rune arc. I don't have one anymore. I did try it out, and then I died to something silly. That being said, we also did go and kill the tree sentinel. He's not an important part of our run, but he does have a halberd, and those are kind of what I want to lean towards using. Halberds and great axes, I should say. But but the 2 levels that we need to get aren't going to be terribly difficult. Um, so I haven't decided on an ending. I do know that we're not going to do the frenzied flame ending because I've already started working towards that one. So this one we can work on either the Dung Eater's quest. We'll grab these for just because. Get outside here and we'll do our thing. So she's here. Which is weird. I did not actually make it down to. So I think there's some discrepancies in how you do her quest and how you don't. I got the letter from Arena, but I never went down into Morn's castle. There's nothing there that I really need, so I didn't go there. I did hit up some places like this. Of course, you guys were there for that. So, Hieta, she's the NPC for that quest line. We're not gonna feed her a grape because she'll leave this spot, and there's a little trick to completing Vare's quest line if you don't want to have to go deal with the stuff in the Frenzied Flame Village. Though, it might be worth it because we get his spear, it induces madness, that's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's super practical for PvE. I guess I never really checked to see if my stuff was working. My camera's working. Okay. Anyway, we're just going to pick up some essentials. Sacred Tear. This Thops, he's a sorcerer. We don't really need his stuff. We're really just trying to get into Liurnia proper. Here's our first Grace in Liurnia. Now we could go fight the guy up at the Ever Jail. The only real important thing that he offers. Dang. I don't know. Is a spell. The souls I don't think are quite worth the fight. We're just trying to get to our next big area. And there's a couple of ways you can go. You just follow this way. You don't have to do too much. Pick up some sites of grace along the way. And I guess as long as we're heading north, we'll be okay. Actually... no, that's to be expected. Let's get out of here. That's where we want to go. So one of the most important parts of our travels here is continuing with Nefeli's quest. I believe she gave us the Arsenal Charm already, so I don't think it'll be too difficult to continue that. The village of the Albinarchs should be a pretty standard stop, I would say, just because if you're trying to do like the all major bosses, you know, bosses with a remembrance, you kind of need to come up here anyway, and because we come up here, oh, she's not here yet, so that means I have to go talk to Gideon. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Well, here's what we could do. So there are a couple of reasons why this would be a stop. First of all, it sets us up for doing Halic Tree shenanigans, and we can go get Latena, actually, pretty quickly. Following this, but let's light the grace. This area has a larval tear in it, and that is an item for respecking. So if I make a goof on my build, I doubt I will. I mean, we're kind of just winging it on the quality weapons, so there may be a time where I maybe get close to one of my 2 level caps. Which I guess I haven't talked about a lot, but the goal is to get to 150. I guess. That's as far as I know, that is still the community meta. And as such, our idea is this is kind of like a co-op, maybe like higher level invasions type of deal. If we want to do that, but right now we're just kind of chit-chatting.
You again. I thought you'd receive the felly loop. I'm glad to see. I found it in God. You defeated. Make good use of it. I don't intend to make.
What? I thought I had one already. Well, fucking look at that. Alright, yeah, so the reason why we work on some of this quest line is so that we get some of this stuff. I think she'll eventually help us fight Horalu, but now that we've discussed things, we could talk to Gideon one more time about Nefeli. Cool. It'll pop up over here because this is where we will use her next. Okay, like I said, there is a larval tier here. It's worth picking up now. We don't have to come scrounge for it later. Now, there is a depraved caravaner up here. And he's quite the tough fight at a low level. Would love to kill him. But what we really care about doing here is this.
Please, no. Dear me. I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be. Wait then. You're not one of them? Well. Oh, aye. We're finished. The cursemongers have destroyed everything. No one that remains, I beg you. You must keep it out of the cursemonger's hands.
Okay, so what this does...
The young Albinoric Latenna. Then please give it to her.
This sets us up for a couple of things. We're going to go fight the Omen Killer real quick. But before we do that, we're going to grab Nepheli. So it's kind of important just to remember, like, if you're doing quests, you got to go talk to everybody, you know?
I witnessed a sight the oppression of the awaking.
So we talked to Nepheli.
But this time, and though the suffering can justice to the let the scars I carve.
So I think that's repeat. Yep. So
So
now that we've got that out of the way, we've got Nepheli in the village of the Albinarics. Just kind of jump over these guys. They're not really super important. So now we can actually summon Nepheli. And go fight the Omen Killer. Come on, guys. Only have 5 S's. Nepheli, let's go. We're not fighting them. We're fighting the Omen Killer. You coming? Okay. So this isn't necessarily an important boss, but he is... It is kind of an annoying boss. Nepheli is doing way too much work right now. Ah. A little tough. You can always come back. But we're going to try and best him real quick. Which I believe we could actually do this after we do some of the other main story stuff here. Which we're actually... I don't want this to be like a setup video. Every area has like a list of things that you probably could be doing. Or should have ready to pick up where you leave off, you know? We come down over here. I don't think we're quite ready to fight Rollo. But we can always head back to... Okay, let me re-specify here. So there's a couple of things that triggers when we do that. First of all, we get the medallion. That means we can go fight Ensha in the Round Table Hold, which we will do here shortly. These guys are annoying. To get his armor and his weapon. His weapon's not super important for the run, but if that's what you're into. We will be hitting up as many of these Erdtree avatars as possible. We also need to go get Latenna before we leave Liurnia as well. No, we don't really need to, but it's slightly worth it. We're just practicing those, getting those. Now, we kind of fudged on the criticals. That was a perfect block. Sometimes you do pokes. Sometimes you get the heavy. You gotta work them both in, you know? Wonder if that's a spell you can get. That was so lucky. Woo, boy. We're doing super good. That is the first hit we've taken in a while. Oh! That was a pretty clean boss fight. Maybe not totally worth it, but just to have the mixed physic, a variety for our mixed physic is 100% worth it. So what we're doing here is there's a couple of options as far as Liurnia is concerned. I don't have the map fully unlocked yet, so it's a little bit weird. We could go over here to Raya Lucaria, which may or may not be the best area to go to right away. It's kind of up to you. I think both areas present their fair set of challenges. Or there's Carrion Manor up here. But what we want to do with this 5,800 souls, because I don't think that that's enough to level up with, is just head over to EG. Since we talked to Blythe and started that quest line, we can actually buy an item that will likely be very useful. What is this? Is this Revenger Shack or some shit? It is. So we did not do the arena quest line, so we won't be fighting him. I mean, we could always go back and do it, but oh, I missed. Here's an Everjail. I don't think it's worth us doing. I think that might be Bowls. Gonna make our way up here. It's also kind of just important for us to have a few different ways to get back to the lake because we have to go get a glintstone key here eventually. I think our plan of attack we'll go into Raya Lucaria first, and then we'll do some stuff. Now, there's some useful items there, but we're not really worried about exploring it too much. Most of them are magical items, or items for a caster, I should say. And this is primarily a melee build. That's what I kind of excel at, I think. We're getting close. So Liurnia has a lot of Everjails, but I think for the most part they're really just there is it the Alabaster Lord or the Onyx Lord? We got all the gray sites we can get here. Should have Revenger Shack, Converted Tower. Okay, so Foot of the Four Belfries. Okay. For some reason I was thinking of something else. Here, our map. I think this is kind of why I like heading up this way at the start of Liurnia, is to get the map fragments. Just so that I can more easily navigate through some of the stuff here. There's our homeboy. So now we can go straight into Caria Manor. If we wanted to fight Loretta, or we could go to Raya Lucaria and fight both Renala and the Red Fox. Red Wolf.
Many visitors, I presume. Oh, I am an old codger, so here perhaps you. Oh, when if you come too close, I am important.
Those guys obviously important for this reason here. You are not really able to purchase any of these for a little bit. I know where to get the Somber Stones up to this point. And also there's an important dungeon here that might be worth checking out prior to doing stuff, but we don't really think we need to. Can we have any way to strengthen? We do need some Somber Smithing. Okay, anyway, let's talk.
Brave tarnished. This territory when the real after level Carians like conjuring an enchanted snare that remains. That is why I say, unless you wish to.
Sorry, we've heard this a lot.
Quite a rare occurrence, perhaps. At any rate,
So, if you are a big melee user and use a lot of Ash of War skills, the Filigreed Crest, super worth it, I think. If you look at the item description, it lowers the FP consumed by skills. If you check it out on the wiki, I think it's like 25% is reduced, which is actually really good depending on the Ash of War that you're using. Like, for example, I have a Guts build that uses that, the Filigree Crest, whatever it's called. And he uses Bloodhound Steps, so that is already a very cheap... It's a very cheap Ash of War, and so we get quite a bit out of it. Because we basically get a secondary dodge that's just better in a lot of ways. But that's not why we're here. Okay, so we got here. I'm wondering if there's a way down, because we need to go find the dragon. Then we can make our way in there. That's a drop. That's a death drop. But we could go over here. That's not a death drop. So there's... Well, now that we don't have the map for here yet. But it looks like we gotta go south a little bit. Because I think we're a little too far north for what we're trying to do. And I'll be sure to go through and explain it a little bit better. If we get there, we're doing things in a really odd order. Because once you know how to get through the place, there's really no point in... Oh, would you look at that? That's a great sight. That's a great sight I didn't know about. You love to see it. Just keep heading south. So there should be... The map fragment's down here, but I'm really confused. Maybe we just haven't passed it yet. While we are over here... Oh no, we're too far over. Right there. Yeah, that's what I want to see. So we just bolt. The Smaragd is not a dragon we want to mess with right now. So that should be Temple Quarter. We can't check until we're done, but we're going to keep moving our way back. Yep, that's the Temple Quarter. We continue to make our way south here a little bit. There are quite a few options as we do so of things we can take part in. Like this right here. Now, I wasn't planning on doing this yet. Because quite honestly, like, I don't quite have a weapon I want to use yet for this character.
My doubts. The words of the two truly. No, I believe even worse. That's the
You know what's crazy is like the only ending I haven't got yet is like the standard.
Oh, I have a means for give it a try, and if it dive high.
So basically, you know, you do it 3 times and then he gives you a quest. That's why we that's why we somewhere around over there. That's why we didn't talk to Hieta or give her the Shabriri grape. Is because, well, we have to either, there's a couple of options for doing this thing. I talked about this once before. We can either go up into the frenzied flame village and soak our cloth in the blood of a dead maiden, or we could just go kill a maiden ourselves. And I think if you've ever done the Frenzied Flame Village quest line, then you would know that that's kind of some ridiculous shit. It would be worth it to go up there just for, you know, educational purposes to get that spear, but that's okay. Cool. So we made one big circle here in quite a short time, but like, I mean, honestly, it makes sense, right? You come up here to EG, and then you can drop down and ride south over here to Temple Quarter, because this section right here is where that key is that we picked up. That'll be important for getting into the academy. But also, this is a good place to start. You know, like if you don't have the grace over here, we need to go over here and do this tunnel for smithing stones. You go up here to get to the overgrown precipice, I believe is what it's called. And then we have access to Carrion Manor. And now we have all of the map sections and a good amount of grace points here. So just kind of doing that circle, you know, allowed us to fill out our map in this area pretty quickly.